Next, we have Ms. Jiahe Wang. Jiahe is a PhD candidate in the Department of Educational Psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Her research interest is in forgiveness and the development of agape love. Collaborating with other scholars, Jiahe published a very first empirical study discussing the development of forgiveness and other focused love in the Journal of Psychology and Theology. Together with her colleague Hannah Rapp, they identified the significant increase of forgiveness and reduction of anger among children and adolescents through a meta-analytic investigation of randomized controlled trials of forgiveness education studies. She currently serves as the co-principal investigator of the project funded by John Templeton Foundation. Implementation of forgiveness education to increase agape love in 3 cultural distinct areas: Belfast, Israel and Palestine, and Taiwan. Ms. Jiahe.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited and grateful to stand here to give this presentation, Agape Love and Forgiveness Education in Israel, Northern Ireland, and Taiwan. About 4 decades ago, Professor Robert Enright pioneered the scientifically proven forgiveness program in adults, especially within those populations who have experienced deep injustice. And in 2000, Dr. Enright thought, why don't we bring forgiveness to children? So when they grow up, they are better equipped to face the injustice that might happen later in their lives. This idea then leads to the development of forgiveness education curriculum from pre-K to grade 12, and 22 years of forgiveness education implemented in more than 30 world sites with the curriculum translated into many different languages. About 3 years ago, around this time, Dr. Enright and I were surprised how scars has the vital moral virtue, agape love, been studied in the social scientific world. We then submit the idea of scientifically examining the moral virtue of agape love through forgiveness education research to John Templeton Foundation. We are very, very grateful that John Templeton Foundation generously funded this project. And we're so glad that the program officer of character virtual development at John Templeton Foundation, Dr. Alexandra Waz, is here with us today. Welcome, Dr. Waz. This is a very brief outline of this 3-year project. In year 1, our team in the United States began to invite leaders from 3 research sites, Israel, Northern Ireland, and Taiwan, to join the project. Through them, research teams were recruited to begin preparation work at each site, such as reaching out to elementary or primary schools and inviting them to be part of the study. Working with the team in the United States to make sure the ethical standards were met in every aspect of the study, and translating the curriculum and teacher training materials. At the same time in year 1, the team in the United States and we also worked on developing the scales that measure agape love, and by validating them in the United States with adults and children, also in some other countries, we also built up a multilingual website for online teacher training. And in year 2, which is the past year, after the teacher training, the Agape Love and Forgiveness Education program took place at the same times in elementary or primary schools in Israel, Northern Ireland, and Taiwan. Surveys as well as interviews were conducted. And this conference we are having right now concludes our 2nd year in the project. And in the coming year, which is the year 3, we're going to carefully analyze the survey and interview data, and also report our findings. As I said, this is an amazing project that has happened at the same time in 3 world sites: Israel, Northern Ireland, and Taiwan. It is impossible to move forward without each team's hard work in the past 2 years. So here, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce and give thanks to our teams. First, the team of Israel. If you are here, please stand up and let us give you a round of applause. Dr. Tali Gal, who leads the whole team. Laiki Saban, who coordinates and participates in every detailed aspect of the project, communicating with schools and did tons of translation. So teaching me how to speak in Hebrew. And Dalia Tauber and Offer Sher are 2 wonderful translators who helped with translating the teacher training material as well as curriculum from English to Hebrew. Leo Kavach, Nora Shahala Demerdijian, Achalam Zahaka, Monira Kaabia are 4 wonderful researchers in the team who helped collecting survey and interview data, as well as translating the scales and other materials, such as the websites from English to Arabic and Hebrew. Our team in Northern Ireland. Thank you, Mrs. Jill McGinnis, for leading the team together with Dr. Anita Gracie and Dr. Barbara McDabe. And thanks to Dr. Annie Marie Miller, Ms. Anne Rowan, and Dr. Suzanne Logue, who communicated with schools, collecting survey and interview data, as well as attending to every detail in the project. Our team in Taiwan is led by Dr. Shi-Chen Tina Huang, the 3 research assistants, Xiao Tongwen, Yao Wanxiang, Huang Jiaxuan. They have been working with schools, providing guidance for teachers on how to use the curriculum, translating materials from English to traditional Chinese, as well as collecting surveys and interview data. And the 6 undergraduate researchers, Lin Peichen, Cai Wenjun, Lin Liangwei, Tu Hanrong, Huang Yuting, Wang Zhenyu. They have been dealing with tons of data work, and some of them are also here today to provide support for our conference. Thank you. And finally, our team in the United States, Dr. Roba Enright, who pioneered the scientific study of forgiveness, again led us to the new realm of scientifically studying the moral virtue of agape love through the validation study, as well as the intervention study using the agape love and forgiveness education curriculum. I myself communicated with and work with different teams, as well as keep track the progress in this project. And Jacqueline Song, as you probably all heard about her name when you registered the conference, she's at the back. She did tremendous work in preparing for this conference, making sure everyone is well fed in these 2 days. And Hannah Rapp and Moon Evans are both doctoral students and candidates in the Department of Educational Psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. They're both wonderful project assistants, helping with all aspects of the project, not only on the research side, but also build up the website, translating, and helping with the conference. Moon in the back, and Hannah. And Dr. Chansong Daniel Lee received her doctoral degree here from the quantitative methods at the Department of Educational Psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. She now works as a measurement scientist at American Board of Internal Medicine. As a statistical consultant in our project, she has done tremendous work on validating the agape love scales and will continue to analyze the effects resulting from the education program. Dr. Lee. She's here with us today. And Katrina Wellbone, she is our Master of Ceremony. She's a master student in counseling psychology who helped with this conference, as you can see, and will mainly assist the qualitative data analysis in the future. Thank you. And now, I would like to give our biggest thanks to all the schools that are involved in this project in the past 2 years. And I will start with the 20 schools in Israel. I will try my best to read out the name of the school, the teacher's name and principal's names in Hebrew. And please bear with me if I didn't make it correct. And if you are here, the teachers and principals, please stand up as I read your names. Katza Nelson Elementary School, Talia Dual, Nuwalt Wolf. Ben Gurion Elementary School, Limogushin, Elias Guan Dual. Native Liazu Kamel Elementary School, Sahabita El, Glitu M. Ichman. Achosh Elementary School, Advadadon, Orion Wise. Aimonim Elementary School, Oret Harim, Orel Naim. Omema Niguim Elementary School, Miriam Hogan, Daphna Bonana. Alunim Elementary School, Barak Yazdi, Limo Shemaelo. Alimugin Elementary School, Avik Hodson, Lehora Aviv. Evan Sham Elementary School, Oshrat Yayu, Betty Bokois. Gulfanin Elementary School, Offer Purnam, Hokina Cohen, Judy Cohen, Elias Otit. Elementary School in Yarka, Shadia Yanis Yagi, Nuela Buabla. Alahawa Elementary School, Lily Hui, Oicham Hoi Fa. Miriam Ponwide Elementary School, Shadi Hoi, Shohana Matao. Naif Kablan E Elementary School, Majdulin Abkhai, Akhaleb Debo. Ba'ayan B Elementary School, Makhwa Asaf Kahama Badaan Titi, Farak Shedan Elementary School, Samira Mensu, Shuhara Mensu. Alahawa Elementary School, my Hui Teres Haddad Ashwal. Alain A Elementary School, Samasaluti Zaina Ilian. Al-Makhab A Elementary School, Yasmin Mushalab Mona Kayo. Alina Jacques Elementary School, Maysulin Kayal, Jihan Awash. And also, I want to give thanks to our guest from Israel. Her name is Ms. Orly Bakhtov. She is the regional instructor at the Department of Professional Development, Ministry of Education, Northern Region of Israel. She's very supportive of the continuous implementation of Agape and Forgiveness Education Program in Israel. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce the 17 schools in Northern Ireland, and I will read out the name of the school and the primary 7 teachers' name and principal's name. Again, you are here. Please stand up and let us give you a round of applause. First one, Curie Primary School, Mr. Stephen King, Miss Ashley Galway. Bocumbra Primary School, Mr. David Helmerton, Mr. Mark Vallely. Brogan Primary School, Miss Denise King, Miss Kathy Humphrey. Jones Memorial Primary School, Mrs. Helen Graham, Mrs. Sandra Ishwood. Newcastle Primary School, Miss Jenny McCann, Mrs. Jenny McCann. Broughshane Primary School, Miss Carol Neal, Mr. Richard Topping. Brownhill Primary School, Mr. Joni Poole, Miss Diane Dawson. Derry Hill Primary School, Mrs. Trudy Emerson, Mrs. Kelly Gardner. St. Joseph's Primary School, Mrs. Ann Boyd, Mrs. Shabam McMullen. St. Matthew's Primary School, Mr. Paul Trainer, Miss Ellen Brown. Long Tower Primary School, Mr. Ian Gallagher, Mrs. Joy Logue. Holy Family Primary School, Mrs. Rebecca Gregory, Miss Shaban McQuaid. And Holy Trinity Primary School, Mr. Colin Stars, Mr. Brian Treacy. Millquarter Primary School, Mr. Jer McPeak, Mrs. Marie Claire McNamee. St. Malachi's Primary School, Mr. Cormac McCabe, Mr. Morris O'Neill. St. John's Primary School, Mrs. Sarah McNicol, Mrs. Fiona Kearney. Mount St. Michael's Primary School, Mr. Peter Devaney, Mr. Philip Lavery. And also, I would like to give thanks to 2 guests from Northern Ireland, Mrs. Jane Miller, Head of Education Support and Control Schools Support Council, Mr. Fenton Murphy, Chief Executive of Catholic Schools Trustee Service at St. Mary's University College. They are both very supportive on this project as well as the continuous implementation of the Agape Love and Forgiveness education in Northern Ireland. Next, I would like to read the 9 schools in Taiwan, and each school has more than 1, like 2 or 3 grade 5 classes participate in the study, and I will read out the name of the school, the teacher's name, the principal's names in Mandarin. 台南市东区胜利国民小学游怡人老师、王慧玉老师、叶和元校长，嘉义县立大明国民小学周惠美老师、郑文玉老师、谢金能校长，云林县北港镇南洋国民小学蔡冉慧老师、吴淑云老师、陈信志老师、蔡维哲校长，嘉义县民雄国民小学胡光倩老师、谢宇哲老师、李宗洲校长，嘉义市新安国民小学谢仲恩老师、查显良校长，嘉义县太保市南新国民小学吴嘉玲老师、林淑丽老师、庄正道校长，嘉义县新港乡文昌国民小学邱慧兰老师、廖志清老师、赖英杰校长，嘉义市港平国民小学陈全满老师、陈延珍老师、陈敏华老师、郭明聪校长，嘉义市兰潭国民小学李怡静老师、黄宽裕老师、邱荣辉校长。And let's give another round of applause to all the educators that have been participating in this project. Thank you. Now I would like to give you some more details about what we have done in this 3-year project. In our first year, we began creating the Agape Love Scales based on sound philosophical foundation. And in total, our team has developed 5 scales measuring agape love in both adults and children's version. Using the format of Qualtrics online survey, we collected 710 adults' responses and 141 children's responses in the United States to validate the scales. And we are still in the process of collecting more adults and children's responses to the Agape Love Scales in some other countries. And why I'm so confident saying that the Agape Love Scales are based on sound philosophical foundation, as you already heard Dr. Enright's very detailed analysis of agape love, and also a lot of his the ideas were published in this article, The Philosophy and Social Science of Agape Love, in the Journal of Theoretical and Philosophical Psychology. And another huge milestone we have achieved in the first year is to translate the materials, including the Agape Love and Forgiveness education curriculum for a 5th grader, into Arabic, Hebrew, and traditional Chinese. And we call our curriculum children's literature-based or story-based curriculum. What does that mean? The curriculum uses stories to teach about agape love and forgiveness and equips children with the knowledge of how to forgive a specific person who offends if they choose to do so. And within the curriculum, there are 4 books and 1 movie are used as the children's literature. Among them, Rising Above the Storm Clouds and The Tiger in the Tall Grass are authored by Dr. Robert Enright, and the translation work was also done with the books. Now I'd like to give you a brief overview of the curriculum. There are 14 lessons in the curriculum. The first 2 lessons introduce the basic concept of forgiveness to students, like what Dr. Enright just introduced to us, what forgiveness is or is not. Then the concept of inherent worth is introduced, as well as agape love, kindness, respect, and generosity. And in lesson 6, we also talk about how to avoid extremes in forgiveness, things like we should not reconcile with people who might continue to be harmful, and how justice can be sought during the process of forgiveness. Lesson 7 will specifically focus on recognizing emotions, especially when facing the injustice, what is righteous anger and what is the anger that can be harmful. And starting from lesson 8 to 13, we'll walk the students through the process of how to forgive another person, which we call it a roadmap to forgiveness. And in the class, students may choose to think about one particular person who hurt them before. They certainly don't have to do so if they don't want to. So forgiveness is a choice. Lesson 14 finally brings the students to think more broadly how forgiveness and agape love can benefit wider communities, not only in families, in schools, but also the impact on the society or even the whole world. And this is the general procedure of each lesson. First, introduce the main ideas. After that, a story or a short clip of movies presented. After that, students are encouraged to express their thoughts by contributing to the class discussion. And after the discussion, students participate in all kinds of activities, such as painting pictures or journaling their reflections. And one example is to create a forgiveness quilt to tell what forgiveness is like. And I'm sure later today in the presentations given by the teachers from Northern Ireland, Israel, and Taiwan, they will share with you their firsthand experience, which is very wonderful information to hear. In the second year of our project, the Agape Love and Forgiveness Education Program was brought into schools, into the classrooms. So first, the teachers went through the training by taking a 3-hour online course that is built into our multilingual website. As you can see, the course is available in 4 languages. And after taking the online training course, the teachers, the researchers from the local team, as well as the United States research team, got together on Zoom for a 3-hour workshop. The workshop is a bit like what we are doing here today. Dr. Enright introduced the important concepts of forgiveness and agape love. And Hannah and I introduced how to use the curriculum as well as the resources on the website. Next, I'd like to briefly introduce the experimental design of the study. Firstly, schools are randomly assigned into experimental group and control group. And students from grade 5, or we call primary 7 in Northern Ireland, and their teachers, the whole class had a 12-week-long intervention. In other words, they all went through 12 weeks of the Agape Love and Forgiveness curriculum. Only if the students and their parents gave consent, they took 4 times of surveys throughout the academic year. As you can see, both experimental and control group took 4 surveys at exactly the same time points. And the difference is the experimental group had a 12-week intervention in the first semester, while the control group turned into experimental group in the second semester and had the 12-week intervention after the second survey. And interviews were conducted with selected participants after survey 2 and survey 3 with different groups as well. And in the surveys, we measured these self-reported variables. They are the same variables for both students and teachers. Teachers also reported to assess the students' class cooperation. In this coming 3rd year of the project, our group will work on analyzing the survey and interview data obtained from the study and write up the findings. And hopefully we'll be able to share with you the results soon. What we are also hoping to do, and also more important, is to continue the effort of implementing Agape Love and Forgiveness Education Program, not only in Israel, Northern Ireland, and Taiwan, but also in many more places in the world. Would you be willing to join this effort of implementing forgiveness and Agape Love education program? Thank you.